This Institute of Leadership and Strategy, as you may have already seen or heard about us, and we are passionate about developing managers and corporate leaders across Africa. And so once again, we want to welcome you. We are excited to have you here. This is the Certified Strategy Professional course.
In any case, strategy started from the military. You know that? The strategy emanated from the military. There are a lot of things we are going to put together, and then we will call it a strategy, not just a goal we have set for ourselves. The courage to choose is the heart of strategy. Why does choice require courage? I normally say any change that is imposed is a change that will most likely be opposed.
Yes, my name is Mbemba Kavinakweta from Guinea Conakry. When it comes to organization, everything is about strategy. Being part of this program is a great privilege, and I hope by the end of this program, I'll be a very good strategist that could take companies beyond their success.
Very glad to be part of this strategic leadership program. Contribution to myself in terms of leading a team that is across 22 countries. So I'm looking forward to the impactful that this program will have on me. Thank you.
I want to attend this and learn this course and project and use it to project the future of Ghana Post.
Now, I had my master's in strategic management and leadership from KNUST. So when I saw the executive leadership strategy program online, I said this is a better choice or option for me to get a certification in what I have already done for my master's program. So I thought it wise to just enroll on, and this is my first session, and I must confess, I love it. I'm going to be here. I'm going to recommend zillions of people to ILS. So this is the best place to be. If you are a strategy-minded person or professional, look no further. ILS is your go-to. Thank you.
Welcome to the Institute of Leadership and Strategy and to our executive certification in strategy. This course will tremendously increase your value, impact, and managerial career and prepare you for senior leadership roles. Sign up for our next cohort and join the over 500 managers and professionals who have gone through our executive strategy development. See you in our next session.
want to officially welcome you all to the Institute of Leadership and Strategy, where we are passionate about developing leaders and corporate executives. And so once again, you're officially welcome to the Institute of Leadership and Strategy.
How do you build a complete institution of the sort and resign from it? And I always remind them, stepping back is part of leadership. All I want to say is that we don't take these decisions arbitrarily or based on intuition.
I felt very included in today's discussions. The lecturer today was also very exciting, very innovative, and he definitely kept the class alive.
The orientation.
All right, a very good evening to every one of you. For our colleagues or those who are not in the country, probably a good afternoon or good morning to you. But for many of us who are right here in this country, Ghana, good evening to you, and thank you for making time to join us. Right, so we want to say a big thank you to you for making time to join our information session leading to the 10th cohort number 10 of the Certified Strategy Professional, for those of you who want to be strategy professionals or strategy experts. My name is Jeff Bassey. Dr. Jeff Bassey is my name. I'm sure many of you heard my voice on Joy FM yesterday when we were referring to the program we're about to do now. It is under 1 hour conversation where we'll be unfolding to you everything you should know about the professional certification in strategy. We have run 9 cohorts, and this is the 10th cohort about to take off. Right, so this is the 10th cohort we about running for the professional certification in strategy. I'll be covering every single area you must know, what the content is about, the content that makes up the professional certification in strategy, the structure of the course itself, the periods you take a lecture, the case study areas and all of that. We'll talk about the fees. We would unfold to you the key instructors, facilitators, and resource persons, and some organizations that we have worked for as an institute, and the various individuals who have been through this program in time past. Now, this course, the certification, professional certification in strategy, is run by the Institute of Leadership and Strategy. Now, the Institute of Leadership and Strategy, as our name connotes, we focus more on leadership and strategy than every other area, for which reason we run 2 flagship areas of courses. One is the Executive Certificate in Leadership. We run Executive Certificate in Leadership, and you must either be in an executive role, a management role, or you are a professional in one area or another. The thing is that if you are just a rank and file staff who is not in a management role, it's difficult to be accepted into any of our programs. So the first one is the Executive leadership program. The second is the executive strategy, which also comes with a certified professional certification in strategy, the professional certification in strategy. Those are the two major flagship courses. Otherwise, we also run various in-house programs for in the areas of executive management development, leadership trainings, team and people management. We have covered over 200 organizations. We currently are serving as the leadership training partners to the Parliament House of Ghana, where we facilitate leadership sessions for the directors and deputy directors of Parliament and also the members of Parliament. We also facilitate leadership sessions for the Military Academy of Ghana. And then we also run for a few other public institutions as the Ghana Revenue Authority. We train for Bank of Ghana. We train for the Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, Ghana Meteorological Agency, the Small Arms Commission. Private organizations, we have been with MTN, we've been with Casa Precon, we trained for Coca-Cola, we trained for Newmont, Kempinski Hotel, Marriott, etc. Beyond the trainings we facilitate and the executive courses we host, we also serve as strategy consultants to quite a number of firms. We've covered some 60 plus organizations. We are either facilitating your strategy sessions, or we are leading the development of your strategic plan or your strategy formulation. We just delivered the 5-year strategy for the Bank Hospital. That's the Bank of Ghana clinic that have now otherwise been commercialized as an independent hospital of the bank. We have done that of Cape May, the estate company, Devtraco. We have done for a few of the banks across the country. On your screen are a few of the organizations that have engaged our services in time past. All right, so that is in brief who we are at the Institute of Leadership and Strategy. We are located at East Legon. On your screen is our executive training center at East Legon. We are on the Lagos Avenue stretch. I always say in Ghana, we are not too used to names of streets. And so I can say we are on the Mansfield Hotel stretch, right behind the GT Bank. There's a cluster of banks on the Mansfield Hotel stretch at East Legon. Behind the GT Bank is where we are. Otherwise, you just go into GPS, Google map, and key in Institute of Leadership and Strategy, and it will bring you directly to our executive training center here in Accra, Ghana. What is the professional strategy certification all about? Now, the professional strategy certification is a global strategy certification for professionals who demonstrate knowledge, skills, and competencies in strategy as required by the body of knowledge of the certification body. Which body of knowledge is what makes the content that is taught in our class, preparing you to write the professional certification exam if you wish. I use the word if you wish because we've had a number of persons who come through the course and will tell you, well, I just want to cement my confidence in strategy, my knowledge and skills in strategy. I may not write the professional exam. We have people who write the exam. About half of the class, thereabout, some 55%. You have some 45% of our participants telling you they are not writing the exam. They just want to earn the internal certificate in strategy that we deliver at the Institute of Leadership and Strategy. But if you want to go further to be professionally certified, you have to sit for the global certification examination so you can write, and on your passing, you are certified as a strategy professional. Are the key modules we go through. Now, this is an 8-modular course taken in a total duration of 8 weeks. So more or less like you take a module per week. I will quickly run you through the 8 modules, and then I will tell you the course structure. Module number 1 out of the 8 is understanding the environment of strategy. Understanding the environment. Why do we bring this module? Now, having consulted for quite a number of organizations across the country, we facilitate strategy sessions for the project and resolution divisions of Bank of Ghana, as I mentioned. We facilitate for Prudential Life Insurance. We've done that for quite a number of financial institutions and also estate companies in Ghana here and there. We can't help it than to come to that firm conclusion in agreement with Boston Consulting Group's research that sought to indicate that loads of managers do not quite understand, or even if they have some ideas on strategy, do not have cemented confidence in business strategy. Now, management is at 3 levels or 3 layers. We have what we call the lower level management, or layer 1. They are mostly branch managers, unit heads. These are people who manage people and activities, so that when you go into a typical bank, a branch manager, for instance, is quite a very junior manager. He's in charge of the people at the branch and activities that happen at the branch. As many as 72% of these people, according to Boston Consulting Group, do not quite appreciate or understand what strategy is. And then you get to mid-level managers. And if I say mid-level, I'm referring to, or call them senior managers, I'm referring to, in a typical bank, for instance, you can put together some 5 to 8 branches, depending on the cosmopolitan nature of the environment, and commit these branches into the hands of one area manager or senior manager whose work is to manage the managers of the branches in that catchment area. Now, these senior managers, according to Boston Consulting Group, has as many as some 58% of them not quite understanding what strategy is. And then the shocker is the executive managers, the C-suite guys, CEO, Chief Operations Officer, Chief Finance Officer, Chief Strategy, maybe a Technology Officer, Chief Marketing Officer. Some 34% of these people, even at the executive C level, do also not understand quite well what strategy. So our module number 1, which is understanding the environment of strategy, takes time for you to appreciate what strategy is. And from the corporate level down to the business level strategy, down to the functional level strategy, because strategy is expressed at 3 layers: where the entire organization is going and how business unit or business functions decisions must be in alignment. And that is what informs the action of all the functions, from finance to marketing to HR to operations, etc. So that when it comes to strategy, the watchword is on synchronicity and congruence. There must be coherence at all the layers of strategy. At that same module, we take our time to expose you, at least to preview all the frameworks and strategy that we use, from the Ansoff metrics to GE McKinsey metrics to McKinsey 7S model to Porter's generic strategy, all the key frameworks that are used in making decisions. I know many of you here must have gone through MBAs and you got wind of the importance of SWOT and environmental scanning and all of that. Well, you may have done some of those things, but a lot of them were probably academic. How do you deploy some of these tools to conduct an actual strategy for an organization? Then we talk about our module number 2. Now, module number 2 is on strategic planning. Strategic planning. Personally, I have facilitated strategy sessions for quite a number of firms in Ghana. And when you go into the session, it's almost as if organizations just come together and come out with annual goals, and then they call it, they are from strategy session. I think the word strategy itself has become that much of a prestigious word, and people just like to associate with it without really understanding what goes on with it. So we are going to expose to you the framework for coming out with an organization strategy, right from step one, where we lead you into understanding the organization, from your mission to creating the ambition. The ambition is the vision. Where are we now? Where do we want to go? How do we get there becomes the strategy. So from creation of the ambition to developing the business model. The business model is the strategy that the organization intends to pursue. And then to a very critical one, which are the operational activities. More like we help organizations to close the gap between strategy hanging up there and everyday operational activities that happen. So these are the steps. You first go through understanding the organization. Then we lead you to understand the organization's environment. From the internal environment, be it your strengths, your weaknesses, where we deduce the capabilities of the company, to analyzing the structures of your organization, your finance unit, your marketing unit, your operations unit, etc. Like we always say, the strength of the chain lies in the weakest link. Beyond the internal environment, we also, at step 2 of the strategic planning process, conduct the external environment. We start with the opportunities and threats, and that we conduct the EFE metrics, what we call the external factor evaluation metrics, to help the organization in allocating resources, whether more resources will go into taking advantage of your opportunities or into addressing your threats in the event that they come to fruition. How does it mitigate against the organization's performance? Beyond that, we also, at step 2, conduct the pestle analysis, which many of you have studied at your MBA level, but probably the practice behind the pestle is the gap we'll be closing for you. But we also do the industry analysis, competitor analysis. All of these things are in step 2, helping us to understand the organization's environment. Indeed, like we always say, drafting a competitive strategic plan is all about relating an organization to its environment. So when the external environmental factors are changing, the organization's internal responses must commensurate those external or exogenous forces. Step number 3 is when then, depending on now what we know about the organization and what we know about the organization's environment, we can then create strategic pillars out of which we deduce the goals that organization will pursue at a corporate level. Then functions can now come out with objectives that will be anchored in the goals. At the 4th stage out of the strategic planning, that is where we do the strategic analysis. If these are the goals we want to pursue, what are the means to achieving those goals? And then we put analysis on the table and conduct all the financial perspective, the cost-benefit analysis, return on investment, the time required, the impact of those decisions on the corporate image of the organization. Eventually, we'll have to make a decision that will be anchored within the stakeholder considerations, from the leaders of the organization to the regulator, to the customer's perspective, etc. Fundamentally, we leave strategy sessions with decisions and not discussions. We may have gone to do all the discussions at formulating a strategic plan, but we have to leave with decisions. Module number 4 will be unfolding to you what we call strategy formulation. You can't put a 5-year strategic plan together and go to bed. Every year you have to go back to reformulate the strategy to be sure that it is responding to contemporary issues. So I normally say that strategies are not static plans. Strategies are fluid, they are emergent, and must be subjected to review quite frequently to be sure they are not out of gear. If for no reason, because of the VUCA nature of the business world today, how the business world has become volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So we must be reformulating the strategy very frequently to be sure that it aligns to contemporary demands of the business environment. Module number 4 is on competitive and growth strategy. Indeed, every organization wants to grow. and managers who express keen knowledge in how to drive competition and growth becomes very key assets to the organization. And if they are not already in C-level or C-suite executive positions, they easily get moved or promoted into those roles if they can demonstrate competencies in driving competitive and growth strategy. So we deal with all the blue ocean, red ocean analysis, and all of that are done at the module number 4. Module number 5 takes time to help you appreciate organizational change and transformation. I normally say that change management is actually a leadership and strategy agenda. Change management is a leadership and strategy agenda. When we put in leadership strategy, there will obviously be changes along the line. Your ability to manage this to be sure that the organization doesn't go out of gear, because a lot of external shocks are going to be hitting the strategy along the line as you are driving it, from market forces of demand and supply, competition, crisis, to stakeholder demands, to resource availability, etc. All these are exogenous factors that are going to impact. And how do we ensure that we can lead organization to navigate these changes to be sure that the strategy still sees the light of day? Then you will also be going through strategic governance from the level of the role the board plays to the chief executive, to the senior management, down to the line managers, and indeed the rest of the staff. I mean, you walk to a typical strategy session and you meet a senior management of about 40 persons when the organization staff strength is about 2,000. 40 persons go to take decisions for the organization. The 1,960 persons who will be useful in its execution and implementation, if you are not extremely skillful at the communication and the governance of the strategy, chances are that strategy may not see the light of day. McKinsey Consulting Group sought to suggest that 48.6% of all companies who go through the trouble of drafting strategy and developing strategy plan don't even have the strategy seeing the light of day. That is a near 50%, 48.6%. And so in our module, to do their strategy sessions, strategy plans that will drive the company. Folks, organizations spend some good money in doing this strategy plan, especially when you are going out of station. We are in Adan Aqua Safari, or we are at Royal Senchi. These days, the gig is with the Peninsula in Akosombo, otherwise Safari Valley Resort in Edukro. You are paying about 8,000 cedis per head, that is per person per night, multiplied by about the 4 or 5 nights we are there. Talk about the food they will eat, the fuel they have driven to and fro, the consultant fee, the opportunity cost of work left undone, only to return to base, and then the strategy doesn't see the light of day. And so to cure that, we take our time to take you through what it means to execute the strategy. A strategy without execution is aimless, and then execution without strategy is pointless. You are just busy for nothing, no strategy, no clear direction. But again, the strategy itself without proper execution also becomes a work in futility. So our module number 8 is where we do a bit of practical work. Every member of the class is put in a group from the industry you are coming from or you are interested in. So those from the banking sector, those who are coming from the agriculture sector, those from the services sector, those from the public sector, those from the non-profit, the NGOs and the rest, the telcos, the oil and gas, the manufacturing environment. You are put in groups of this interest, and then you are given cases that pertains to your industry or probably the industry you wish to know more about. And then you develop a complete strategic plan, more or less like practicalizing the previous 7 weeks you had gone through, how to analyze the organization's environment, how to come up with strategic pillars and goals for the organization, and for that matter, all the strategic tools we would have shared with you in developing a proper strategic plan. So you do this in small groups, depending on the industries you are coming from, and then you meet a panel on the 8th week to make presentation of the strategic plan. The goal is not to discredit or embarrass anybody or to compete, but to ensure that we can increase your collective learning experience in there. So the panel is listening to your presentation and questioning if this is your ambition or vision as an organization, and you created this business model and you want these operational activities and closing the gap to pursue them, and you probably have done an analysis of the organization's internal and external environment. How come you are setting these type of goals? Are the goals too low, too high? And what are the measures you are putting in place to ensure that these goals get realized? So all the monitoring mechanisms and everything are all tested during the presentation. So together, these are the 8 modules you go through. You focus on a module per week. And so in 8 weeks, you are through taking the 8 modules. Somebody may ask, why become a certified strategy professional? Why is it important to be? Generally, professional certifications tell employers that you have acquired the right knowledge and skills in whichever area you intend to certify, whether it's accounting. I'm a chartered accountant with ACC as well, as much as I'm a certified strategy professional. Somebody is probably a certified PMP, project management professional, chartered banker, chartered marketer, etc. Why is there a need to even charter? One, like I mentioned, it tells that you have the required knowledge, because a professional body would have taken you through the rigor of having to learn everything there is in the body of knowledge. But the second is that it gives you recognition and credibility. Like I was saying on Joy FM yesterday, the host, Winston Amwa, the Joy Morning Show, asked, why is it important for managers to seek to certify? Some of you who even know or understand strategy, you know it, but how are we sure? Who certified you that you have this knowledge? Like we always say, you can trust the person, but you need to check. So we say we in God we trust. Aside from God, everybody else, we need evidence that you claim you know something. How are we sure? A certification makes it easier. It's like me appearing for a company and telling them that I'm a good accountant and I want to be in charge of your finances. Who can verify that? But when the professional body, ACCA, said, we have so certified this guy as a chartered accountant and that he can be in charge of your finances, I think it gives much more credibility and recognition. And especially when this is an international course, that recognition is not only at the local level, but also at the global level, right? Then it also improves your marketability, etc. It prepares you mainly for the C-suite executive role. If you really want to climb to the executive level, understanding strategy becomes very imperative in getting to those executive level. And then finally, some of you who are probably also interested in going to as a private consultant, maybe a management consultant, or you want to be a strategy consultant, this professional certification also becomes a major training ground, preparatory ground for you to launch your consulting, career. Now, who is qualified? As I mentioned, it is open to all managers, executives, and professionals. We do not take rank and file workers. I finished university 2 years ago, or I finished my national service. I am at the entry level of my career. Can I also come? Respectfully, no. You may not even appreciate the content that will be taught in the class. So you have to be in a management role. It doesn't matter which layer of management: unit manager, department manager, line manager, senior manager, executive manager, and in all areas. whether your background is in finance, HR, sales, marketing, operations, banking, non-profit. We've had country director of Amnesty International. She was in our cohort number 6. The chief director at the presidency, director of passports, registrar general of Ghana. These are people leading organizations that are not profit motive. You know, they were all in the session. So be it the non-profit, profit, public, you are an IT engineering, whatever, you only have to prove to us that you are a manager or a professional in one area. We've had a few medical doctors from the Bank Hospital, from SynLab, the CEO and a couple of doctors went through this course. A few lawyers had come through, some engineers, a number of senior military officers of the Ghana Army had come through this certification, right? Now, what is the course structure? You are taking an 8 modular course within a stretch of 8 weeks. So you're having 8 weeks of instructor-led sessions with case studies. Nearly every module comes with specialized cases as it pertains in organizations. But you have 2 options. The lectures happen on weekends only, Saturday and Sunday, and you don't have to be in the 2. You can be in one of the 2. We run in-person classes on Saturdays only, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., of course, with 1 full hour of lunch break in between. And so 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the ILS Executive Center. As I indicated already, we are located on the Lagos Avenue, East Legon, Accra, Ghana. You can just go to Google Map and key in Institute of Leadership and Strategy, and you'll come straight to our learning center. Otherwise, if you are signing up for the virtual option, you are taking tuition on Sundays only, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Sundays only, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. And we use the Google Meet for our tuition. Those of you who might be worried, is the online going to be as effective as in person? Yes. The likes of Director of Ports, Peter Amobediakun of the Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, a few other executives from there. We've had managers of NHI sitting in Tamale, Wa. We've had National Investment Bank managers in Kumasi. We indeed have people who join us from 8 different other countries, or 8 countries other than Ghana, and they took 100% of tuition online, wrote and passed the examination for those who intend to certify. And so you can stick to Saturday throughout for the 8 weeks, or virtual throughout. But I love it when you switch between the 2 options. You can switch between the 2 options. You have the liberty to do so. Considering the caliber of people in our sessions, it becomes difficult to pin them down. So every weekend you have the liberty to go for Saturday or Sunday, and you don't necessarily have to stick to one throughout. You can switch between the 2 options depending on your schedule. There's a third option which we normally don't advise, which is that our virtual option on Sundays gets recorded. And so if you miss Saturday, and for whatever reason you also miss the Sunday, you have the recording on Sunday to listen to, so you are brought to speed. Otherwise, people will ask me, can I come Saturday physical and still come Sunday online? No, it is a question of either or. Every weekend you choose one of the 2, because the content that is taught in person, same module, same thematic areas, same case studies, same instructor, same examples that happen in person is also repeated online following day Sunday, giving you the liberty to choose between the 2 options every weekend. The professional exam, for those of you who intend to sit for the examination, the professional exam is an online-based exam, multiple choice. You are answering 100 questions in a space of 2 hours, multiple choice. And all you require to pass is 60%. You get 60 questions correct out of the 100 questions, and then you are certified. It's competency-based. And unlike academic programs where exam is based, you pick and choose which topics, in strategy exam, the questions are deduced from every single thematic area of strategy, from the formulation to planning to understanding the strategic tools to managing the change process and strategic projects and initiatives to the financial bit to execution and implementation. Every single area is tested in the exam. But once you enroll, we take our time to take you through this. Our pass rate is more than 80%. Yeah. If we register about 100 candidates, we get about 82 or so. It fluctuates. Normally, sometimes you get 82% pass rate, 86% pass rate. And one question people ask is, what happens in the unlikely event I do not pass? If you do not pass at your first sitting, you may only have to allow 30 days. That's 1 month before you can resit. You are not readmitted into the exam until after 1 month. Then you can sit. I'm yet to see anybody go the third time. And this is even for those who intend to write the exam, because we normally try to achieve two things in our trainings. One, for standard practice, not necessarily to, because you have to write and pass an exam, but then also we take advantage of that to prepare you through the syllabus required to pass the exam and be so certified by the professional body. As I mentioned, physical location is East Legon, as you can see on your screen now. This is how some of our inner cycles of tuition or lecture halls, look like for those of you who are coming in person. Let me quickly walk you through the cohort of facilitators and resource persons who teach at the Institute of Leadership and Strategy. Many of them are corporate chiefs, and so they have their experiential knowledge to share with you. Number one on our list is the Mr. Kweku Awachi. Kweku Awachi was the chief strategist for Anglo Gold Ashanti for several years, the gold mining firm. He later became the chief executive officer of VRA, the immediate past CEO for Talo Oil Ghana. He's currently the board chairman for UBA, United Bank for Africa, and also Multimedia Ghana. And then we have Mr. Ebo Richardson. Ebo Richardson is currently a strategy expert and a management consultant, but most recently, he served as an executive director at Absa Bank. He actually chaired the committee that transformed Barclays Bank into Absa, and so he anchors our change management module. Then we have Wing Commander Samuel Alote. Samuel Alote is currently a consultant and a senior lecturer with GIMPA, board chairman for Jospon, and then former executive of Stanbic Bank. Professor Ayaz Shafi is a visiting professor of strategy to the Institute of Leadership and Strategy here in Ghana. Then my good self, I'm also a leadership and strategy expert, a corporate trainer and consultant. And then we have Madame Grace Awachi. Grace Awachi anchors our financial analysis thematic areas of some of the modules. She's a financial analyst, a chartered accountant, and currently serving as the chief finance officer of the Bank of Ghana Hospital. Then we have Mr. Michael Abiu, who is a strategy expert. Michael is also the CEO for MGA Consulting and currently serving as the national president for CIMG, Chartered Institute of Marketing, Ghana. He also sits on Telecel board. Mr. Andrew Fenning Okine, it's the former Global Chief Operations Officer for Standard Chartered Bank Global, former CEO for Leshego, and currently serving as a corporate strategy consultant or expert on our ticket. Mr. Adolf Pega is an executive director at Absa. He's currently the chief strategist or chief strategy officer for Absa Bank Ghana. Then we have Dr. Samuel Segla. Dr. Samuel Segla is a senior lecturer with Ghana Technology University. He is a consultant to GCB Bank and also a chartered management consultant. Bernard Avle, who happens to be the general manager for City FM and also doubles as the anchor for the morning show, is a visiting resource person. He meets our strategy students and shares the strategy perspective or the story of City FM from the strategy perspective. And finally on my list is Mr. Dr. Patrick Fishen. Patrick Fishen served as chief strategist for Standard Chartered Bank, later EcoBank. And before the demise of Sovereign Bank, he was the managing director. He was also an adjunct instructor with NIPS currently. So this is the College of Facilitators and Resource Persons that deliver our lectures. We've been accused in recent times of not having many or not having more female instructors on our ticket. And so we are speaking with a few. Antoinette Kofi, who happens to be the Chief Finance Officer of MTN. She appeared once on our platform, but we have had to go back and get her to join the college. And over time, we are sure that as and when we locate more female corporate chiefs who happen to be strategy experts, we will co-opt them into the faculty or resource persons for the institute. Before we go, once you finish the course, you then become a member of the Strategy Professionals Ghana. So we run we are members of the Strategy Professionals Ghana. We meet from time to time where there are key corporate chiefs, chief executive officers, and senior officers as members. And for those of you who are already up there as strategy experts, you gain your full membership from the start. Otherwise, if you are a student of strategy and you really don't have the grace over it yet, you are also a member, except that your status will be an associate member until such time where you qualify to meet the requirement to be a full-fledged member. Right. One may ask, how do we enroll for the next cohort? How do we enroll for the next cohort? The next cohort, which is the 10th cohort, registration fee is 250 Ghana cedis. Once you WhatsApp your name or text by WhatsApp the number on your screen, 0244 2686 72. 2686 72. Every detail will be given to you. The program fee is 12,800 Ghana cedis. 12,800 is a full fee, and that covers everything. There's no hidden fee anywhere, except that it is payable in 2 installments. So you pay the first tranche of 6,400 to begin, and somewhere in the middle of the program, by the 5th week, you are required to pay your second installment. That covers tuition, materials. For those of you who will be in person, you lunch and all of those are provided. And then also your executive certificate in strategy. Forgive the typo you see on the screen now. The next cohort is not cohort 9, it's cohort 10. Cohort 9 is currently with us, and we'll be finishing next weekend. Next weekend, they'll be done with their session. And they took off Saturday, February 28, 2026, and they'll be finishing early next month or next weekend. Is next weekend we are still in April? Yes, they'll be finishing final week of April. For the 10th cohort, which we are engaging on now, it's taking off May 23, 23rd May. For those of you who will be reporting for the very first weekend, you want to come Saturday, you are reporting by 10 a.m. In any case, once you go through the registration process, we'll deliver an admission letter that bears every information that will be given to you. So the physical class is taking off Saturday, 23rd May. And for those of you who will be taking the virtual or the online for the first meeting, it starts on Sunday, 24th May. Once you register, you are actually put on the WhatsApp group platform where every single information will be shared with you by the administrators. But take note of the hotline. Those of you who even have questions as I'm making this presentation, kindly don't direct your questions to the chat console of this platform. Otherwise, we might close without answering all your questions. Direct the questions to the hotline you see on your screen by WhatsApp, 0244 2686 72. 0244 2686 72. Once you send hi to that number, every information will be provided to you, and on your registration, you are offered an admission letter and uploaded to the WhatsApp group where every single detail concerning our takeoff will be shared with you. To register, this is our payment platforms you see on your screen. You buy a registration voucher of 250 cedis using any of the payment platform, and there are mainly two. EcoBank. We are with EcoBank Legon branch. The account details is on your screen. Otherwise, you are using the MTN Momo. It's a merchant line. You'll see Institute of Leadership and Strategy. And the number then is 024 160 2541. 024 160 2541. Once you send your 250 cedis, you immediately receive a voucher, registration voucher, which enables you to log online and register. Now, let me say that all you need to bother about now is the registration fee of 250. Because people ask, must I pay the fee now? No. You only pay the fee on takeoff. That's the first half or the first installment of the fee at takeoff. But to secure your seat, you pay your 250 cedis. People ask us, when is your closing date? We don't run with closing dates, please. We run with class sizes. Once the class size is full, we cut admissions. You may have to wait for the ensuing or the following cohort to be able to join. So anytime the class is full, we cut admissions, and it's not about closing date. We are passed out close to 1,000 persons. But let me say that we run two major programs, executive leadership and then professional strategy. The two together is about 1,000 persons so far in 9 cohorts. And we are just preparing to take off with cohort number 10. All right, so at this point, I want to end. And if there are any questions that will come, we promised that we're doing this under 1 hour. We took off at 5 o'clock. We'll be done before 6 o'clock, and it's 10 minutes to 6. If there are any questions at this material moment, you can send the questions through the number on your screen, 0244 26 86 72. Somebody is still asking me, what are the requirements? I'm sure you joined late. I mentioned you only have to be in a management position, case closed. We don't deal with academic requirement. You must have a degree, you must have a master's. It's not important. What is important is, are you a manager? Are you a manager? And when you are filling out the form, you respond to these questions for us. It's a professional course, not an academic course. So you have to be in a management role, whether a junior manager, senior manager, or executive manager, doesn't matter. Once you're in a management role. Otherwise, you have to be a professional in an area. I'm an accountant, I'm an engineer, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, something. What we don't take is junior staff. I just started work 2 years ago. I'm at the entry level. I finished my national service. No, then you will not be qualified. Otherwise, your background doesn't matter, whether you're a manager in finance, in marketing, in operations. I actually mentioned that you can even come from the NGOs. And I mentioned how we've had people from Compassion International Ghana, the country director for Amnesty International, the Registrar General of Ghana, director of the chief director at the presidency of Ghana, director of passport. All these guys came through the program. So your professional background is not nearly as important as the level you are, because strategy is for manager. Those are the higher levels within the organization, right? If there's any other question, let's address it. Otherwise, you just wait for a few minutes, and then you'll view some of our videos and lecture moments in a few minutes before we close off. Yeah, somebody is asking tuition fee. I actually mentioned that the tuition fee is 12,800 Ghana cedis. 12,800 Ghana cedis. No other hidden charges, except you want to write the examination, which is $350, and that you pay only when you are willing to write the exam. Otherwise, your tuition, all your materials, your executive certificate in strategy, your lunch, and all of those things are all captured. You pay the fee in installments. So registration fee is what is important now to secure a seat. You pay your first installment fee when we take off on May 23 or 24 for those of you who are taking online. And then sometime by the 5th week, in the middle of the program, you are required to pay your second installment. So the answer is 12,800 cedis. Sometimes when I hear people say, is that not expensive? 12,800 cedis is about $1,000. It's a lot of money, I agree. But that's just about $1,000. I mean, strategic course at Harvard is $17,000. Yes, somebody said, but you are not Harvard. Yes, we are also not saying we are. That is how come you are paying just $1,000, but the content is similar, considering the strategy exposure of the key resource persons who facilitate the session. $1,000 is a lot of money, but not too much money, especially when it have to do with your career progression. And strategy is a very expensive quality service to have. We develop strategy plans for companies, and for a medium-sized company, we do about 300, 400,000. If it's a large company, you are paying some 600,000 for us to give you a well-formulated strategic plan. So strategy is a very expensive skill, and so you try, especially when you are not required to pour the entire money at a go. You can pay it in tranches. 12,800 Ghana cedis is a tuition fee. All right. In the absence of further questions, we want to draw the curtains here. Just give us a couple of minutes just so you appreciate more of who we are by our videos and lecture moments in just some 4 minutes, and then we close the session. Thank you so much, and do have a great, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We look forward to having you in our cohort number 10, a professional strategy class, taking off on the 23rd and 24th of May. Thank you and have a good evening.
This Institute of Leadership and Strategy, as you may have already seen or heard about us, and we are passionate about developing managers and corporate leaders across Africa. And so once again, we want to welcome you. We are excited to have you here. This is the Certified Strategy Professional course.
In any case, strategy started from the military. You know that? The strategy emanated from the military. There are a lot of things we are going to put together, and then we will call it a strategy, not just a goal we have set for ourselves. The courage to choose is the heart of strategy. Why does choice require courage? I normally say any change that is imposed is a change that will most likely be opposed.
Yes, my name is Mbemba Kabinakweta from Conakry. When it comes to organization, everything is about strategy. Being part of this program is a great privilege, and I hope by the end of this program, I'll be a very good strategist that could take companies beyond their success.
Very glad to be part of this strategic leadership program. Contribution to myself in terms of leading a team that is across 22 countries. So I'm looking forward to the impact that this program will have on me. Thank you.
I want to attend this and learn this course and project and use it to project the future of Ghana Coast.
Now, I had my master's in strategic management and leadership from KNUST. So when I saw the executive leadership strategy program online, I said this is a better choice or option for me to get a certification in what I have already done for my master's program. So I thought it wise to just enroll on, and this is my first session, and I must confess, I love it. I'm going to be here. I'm going to recommend zillions of people to ILS. So this is the best place to be. If you are a strategy-minded person or professional, look no further. ILS is your go-to. Thank you.
Welcome to the Institute of Leadership and Strategy and to our executive certification in strategy. This course will tremendously increase your value, impact and managerial career and prepare you for senior leadership roles. Sign up for our next cohort and join the over 500 managers and professionals who have gone through our executive strategy development. See you in our next session.
want to officially welcome you all to the Institute of Leadership and Strategy, where we are passionate about developing leaders and corporate executives. And so once again, you're officially welcome to the Institute of Leadership and Strategy.
How do you build a complete institution of the sort and resign from it? And I always remind them, stepping back is part of leadership.
All I want to say is that we don't take this decision arbitrarily or based on intuition.
I felt very included in today's discussions. The lecturer today was also very exciting, very innovative, and he definitely kept the class alive.
The orientation, the delivery has been perfect, and I am so excited.
Naturally, systems are evolving, organizations are evolving, and you cannot afford to remain static. You need to be strategic in your approach in solving problems.
The first day has been very impressive. I've met a number of people already. I think that this environment creates the right opportunity to network with people of like-mindedness and also, connect business-wise.